As I realize my mic is muted, welcome to all of you to the Long Take episode 3. Isabel, move your feet. That's the last thing I want any of these pigs seeing. Um, welcome to the Long Take episode 3. Today we are going to be going over a lot of stuff, but namely a couple trailers. We're going to do some streaming stuff real quick. Because today, the first of every month is like a big streaming day because they dump like a ton of movies on streaming. So we can go over really quick some of the big hitters. And then we will be doing a tiering of A24 movies. None of you bastards better not a screenshot of those. I swear to God. But first up, we have the trailer for See How They Run, which looks like someone put it to me as what was it, Knives Out Light, which I could see that. Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, Adrian Brody, David Oyelowo, who we've interviewed before. Looks fine. Looks not cheap, but like a little cheap, I guess. I didn't have like a ton of thoughts on it, but like other than I like Saoirse Ronan and Sam Rockwell and David Oyelowo, who we've interviewed before. And Adrian Brody's good. Adrian Brody's having the career comeback of the century. He went from like doing that shitty Dragon Blade movie that like nobody watched to that like was in the Chinese one that we watched with Donnie, to doing like Peaky Blinders and all this other stuff, which I think is really cool. The other trailer that was big was Ticket to Paradise, which is from O.L. Parker, who did Mamma Mia 2 with George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Caitlin Dever. The trailer was interesting, and I love that cast of it. There's nothing about this either that totally stood out to me. But after that, there wasn't a ton of trailer news. Those are the big ones. They dropped like teasers for Thor and everything. I would recommend not looking at any of those because they just give away too much, and there's not enough to give away in the first place. So I feel like you're better off not screwing yourself over and seeing anything more than you need to with that. From streaming, and this is what I was more excited to talk about, was all the new stuff that's coming to streaming today. There's a lot of stuff on like all 4 of the major platforms. There's on Netflix, Big Daddy, Boogie Nights, Catch Me If You Can, Deliverance, Goodfellas, Insidious. I need to rewatch Insidious. Mean Girls, Natural Born Killers, Old School, Police Academy, Semi-Pro, Snatch. Obviously, Stranger Things. I went through the first 2 episodes of it this morning, but I was like scrubbing through because it's like we talked about this with Stranger Things before. I feel like it's a little bit bloated. So, who's my favorite characters on the Harley Quinn show? Someone just asked. Oh, yeah, I gotta keep remembering. I gotta put this up. My favorite characters on the Harley Quinn show. No, it's number 1, King Shark. But I feel like that's everyone's number 1. It's kind of boring, but it's just true. Do I have a Terminal List review? Not a full one, but I will say Terminal List was awesome. Very, very good show. It really blew away all my expectations for it because like I feel like anything like that becomes very paint by numbers or whatever. It's like super dark. It's very, very interesting. Awesome action too. Really, really good action. Taylor Kitsch, we interviewed for it, was awesome. Really good as well. Also on Netflix, Stranger Things, like I was saying before, like the first season of that last season of it was like the first 2 episodes were amazing. Last episode was amazing. Everything in between felt very bloated. And I feel like these first 2 episodes of this new season, which I watched, felt a little bit, I felt like I was skipping through a lot of it because I was like, I don't want to hear these people talk. I want to get to like get to the point or whatever. And I don't need to watch 4 hours worth of exposition for a finale. Like I kind of just want to go straight to the ending. The Dark Knight Rises coming in. The Dirty Dozen, which is one of my favorite old movies, basically OG Suicide Squad with that, except it's really good actually, and they're killing Nazis, which is always fun. Pursuit of Happiness, The Terminal, not The Terminal List, but the Tom Hanks movie, and Zero Dark 30, which I haven't watched in forever. I'm gonna rewatch Zero Dark 30. Will we ever finish the slap? I think we did what? We live streamed watching 2 episodes of it, and it's just not a good show. On HBO today, they got Last Night in Soho, Lone Survivor, Overboard, the original, the Spy Kids trilogy, The Raid 2, and the Raid movies. I mention this all the time. They're the best action movies made in the last 10 years by far. Both of them are in like that top 5 pantheon. Thoroughbreds, which I thought was a very underappreciated movie when it came out. Anya Taylor-Joy and was it Olivia Cook? Forget. Warrior, one of the all-time great fight movies. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? All that's coming to streaming today on HBO, Hulu. Any Given Sunday, all-time favorite, probably. I think it's my all-time favorite Al Pacino role. Big Trouble in Little China, Black Knight, which I love the Black Knight. It's very funny. A couple other ones. Have we seen Nope yet? I have not seen it yet. I feel like anyone with a brain should be looking forward to it because it's Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele he doesn't make bad movies. Obviously, that's not a huge sample size or anything, but everything he's like involved with is usually well above standard, and the trailers for this look sick. Also on Hulu, The Expendables, Independence Day, Jumanji. It's Jumanji, right? Not Jumanji. Jumanji. Kung Fu Hustle, which is one of my all-time favorite foreign movies. Great comedy. Milk, Radio. Radio is a movie which, like, in retrospect, it's kind of weird having Cuba Gooding Jr. play that sort of character, but like I think I've seen that 500 times in school. Talladega Nights, and That's My Boy. So Glennie, if you're watching, I know that you're excited for Hulu. Prime Video, Terminal List. I don't know how many episodes dropped because like they gave us the full season, so I just watched the full season. But if they give you the first two, watch fully through the first two episodes because they're really, really good, and they both have like really good ending sequences. And again, very impressive series. The Boys season 7 review or episode 7. Okay, so like I saw all The Boys, and I watched it all probably a month ago now. And I remember the episode I remember was like episode 6 is Herogasm, but I don't remember exactly what episode 7 is. But don't spoil it for anyone else who haven't watched this yet. The fastest must-watch director. I think so, just based off of like the second Get Out came out, it was immediately everyone was just looking forward to whatever his next project was going to be. It wasn't like anyone was on a pause and like, let's go figure out what else is up. Like who else is stuff going on there? It's like once they announced Us, everyone was going ballistic, being like, it's Jordan Peele's next movie. It's going to be incredible. So maybe it just was because obviously Get Out was such a phenomenon. On Prime Video, again, Terminal List, watch it, check it out. It's very, very good. Ali, Clueless, Dark Waters, which is like sneaky, another very underappreciated movie. That was one of Ruffalo's best, and I don't think he's a particularly good actor. I don't know if that's a hot take. I'm not a fan of his. I think he was very good in that. Gladiator, Hot Fuzz, which are my favorite comedies. Jacob's Ladder, the original with God damn it, I always forget his name. Tim Robbins. Yeah, Tim Robbins. I'm not sure exactly. Jiro Dreams of Sushi, one of my favorite documentaries. Lincoln, Midnight in Paris, Revolutionary Road, Rosemary's Baby, Speed, The Fighter, The Italian Job, and War Games all coming to Prime Video. Those are good movies. Like Prime Video is sneakily building up a great catalog. Just their interface sucks fucking ass. It's terrible. Expectations for Gray Man. I don't know, but like it's one of those things where like that trio of actors, Ana de Armas, Chris Evans, and Ryan Gosling are just incredible. And the Russo brothers being on board with it and bringing in like all of their action people, and like if you think about it this way, there's like a coaching tree, right? Their coaching tree includes people like that have gone on to make incredible action movies, like Sam Hargraves, for example, was like second unit director on Avengers and all that shit. He worked with Stahelski and I forget the other John Wick guy. He made Extraction. Like they have a great tree of action people that have gone on and do things. I feel like they also made like I think the best individual movie they probably made that needed no connection to anything else was Captain Falcon, or rather Captain America and the Winter Soldier, because it wasn't really like a superpowers movie. It was like a really honestly great espionage thriller. Like independent, it could have been the same exact plot with different no superpowers whatsoever. It would have been amazing. It's not Showtime Anytime because I've never used Showtime Anytime. I can promise you that. I think between all of them, it's like it's weird because like I feel like I'm more forgiving when the content is better. Like Netflix has the easiest by far interface, I think, in my opinion anyway. HBO Go is just like kind of, I feel like they're still debugging it, even though it's been out for like 4 years. Hulu's just sucks ass. It's terrible. And Prime Videos is awful. Prime Video they make it purposely hard to browse through their movies, and they have really good movies. Like, they have a really good catalog. They make it impossible to find stuff. See, this is the X-ray feature. I agree. That is the coolest thing about Prime Video by far. Like, the fact that you can go through there, you can see which actors are in what scene. You can like see trivia for moments. That's the coolest thing by far. But everything else about it, like searching their library, is such a fucking hassle. And if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, like, you're not gonna find something to watch, because they're just gonna be pumping their shit, their Prime Video originals, all of that stuff. They'll be pumping like the 4 major things that they know are gonna get clicks. It'll be like Terminator, and like big action sequel. It'll be like Armageddon, whatever. They'll pump those and their original stuff and nothing else. And the way that you browse genres under for movies and shows on their interface is so fucking stupid. Like, it's maddening. Like, I wish I could just like shake the person who designed it and be like, just make this normal. Just cut it up into genres. Don't make it so fucking confusing, because it's one of those things. Like, I'll go on movierankings.net and I'll find out something's on Amazon Prime that I would never know is there, because it's just not advertised on the homepage, even though it's a fantastic movie. So the Kenobi, I think we talked about this a little bit in the last episode of the Long Take, and also on the last episode of LCB. Kenobi is very okay. It is the most okay show I've watched in recent memory. It doesn't offend. It just disappoints. Like, and a lot of people were complaining how, like, everyone had it all hyped up in their brains. Everyone had it all. It's like, you realize, like, they put together Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor again for the first time in like basically 2 decades. They built that hype. They built the expectations for us to live up to. And it's not exactly like we're all going into it thinking like, yeah, the prequel movies are the greatest movies ever created. Well, some of you are, but like they built up that hype machine, and I feel like they disappointed a decent amount. I just feel like it was very safe. It was very not unique. It was like kind of just boring. Like, it was just like the storyline. You have 2 characters, Obi-Wan and Anakin, with the most tread on your tires out of any characters in Star Wars. No one has gotten more screen time than those 2. And like, you just kind of do a very paint by numbers interaction between them. Like, it's cool seeing them interact between the point of A New Hope and the ending of Revenge of the Sith. But like, it's just wasn't very special. So like, I think that's might be the better way to put it. It's just, it was the least special thing ever. Yeah, the Vader scenes are fine. That's the big thing. I didn't hear Duel of Fates once. It wouldn't have been, I think, Duel of Fates. Duel of Fates is Darth Maul's fight with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. It would have been, I think they would have done Clash of the Heroes. I think it's Battle of the Heroes was the song they used in Revenge of the Sith. That's the one that plays while they fight on Mustafar. But didn't hear that. I think that the music in when it was really bad, which was really surprising, because Natalie Holt, who did the music for this, was also the person who did the music for Loki. The music in Loki was amazing. To do more series of, like, do you mean like more seasons? I don't totally understand the question, or if you mean like they're going to do more seasons of offshoot characters from The Mandalorian. Everybody wants them. Yeah, really good movie. That's it. And that's what I think Jeff said to Wyatt Russell during the interview. He's like, when anyone, it's like his foolproof movie recommendation. Whenever someone's like, I just want a movie to watch, he'll just say that, and no one's ever disappointed. Really, really good movie. I was just tweeting about this last night. I blew through the entire season in one day yesterday because it was so goddamn good. Like, really couldn't put it down. And especially, I would say the entirety of episode 7, which is done in a single take or presented as a single take, is super. It's really, really, really well done. Super anxiety inducing, incredible. There's an opening to the final episode of which was episode 8, which was incredible, like award worthy. Really, really cool show. I think they also just capture Chicago really well. I mean, I've only been to Chicago, I think 3 or 4 times. Every time I've loved it, and I feel like they captured like the sort of spirit of the city very well, and they do a lot of cityscape shots, which is really interesting. Yeah, I think we all are, and that's people are starting to notice that more. Like Taika Waititi said with his project, he's not going to be doing like I forget what exact term he used. He said something in the vein of like, I don't want to make a movie about like Chewbacca's grandpa or whatever. He's like, I want to do something completely unique and different. And like, that is what I think a lot of creators are going to go do moving forward. And if not that, just not touch on the Skywalkers and go and use the characters from stuff like Clone Wars, which were incredibly successful and interesting, like Ahsoka and stuff like that. On a season 2, that's separate stories. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that brought down this last season was, I think if they cut the Leia Luke stuff completely, I think if they cut either Vader or the Inquisitors, then it would have been better as well, because it's just like you're adding too much in trying to condense it all, and it's very difficult. And I thought the Inquisitors were a huge bust. Like I liked Reva. I think they built onto her and she became a better character. But like the Inquisitors, especially the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels, they were like some of the most scary characters in all of Star Wars, and they made them into kind of really just kind of bitches. Kind of sucked. I don't think he would be a one hit, because I do think Us was very good. I think Get Out was better than Us, but I think that Us was still better than a wide majority of horror movies. Yeah, and again, this is what Taika has coming up soon. I don't know about favorite, but we're gonna do a tiering of A24 movies later on, and I think Lady Bird would be up there as far as best, because I do think that movie is exceptional. Yeah, Bear was amazing. We didn't review this, but that movie was very, very good. It was like a perfect intersection of like all like those the dark emotions of like fear, horniness, and like just like despair, all that stuff. They combined all of that a lot, and I think that's what that movie did better than anything else. Yeah, and obviously a lot of odes to like other horror movies. I think The Old Lady, which was played, I think, by Mia Goth as well, was really good. The Old Man was so fucking scary, and like all their interactions were really cool. Very, very interesting horror movie. Yes, I agree with this. Old Republic, I think, more than anything else, would be more interesting to me. I saw this and I just don't believe it. Like there are very few, there's a lot of like actors out there or voices or people where it's like it'll take you out of something extremely quickly. I think Howard Stern is one of those guys. You can't put Howard Stern in a Marvel thing because everyone will stop what they're doing and go, that's Howard Stern. Like it's not, I don't think he belongs in a Marvel project. I think either he did it on purpose, which would be funny, or I don't know. It's not actually a Marvel Doctor Doom thing. It's like some sort of something he doesn't understand. Almost in the same vein of like, was it Tyrese Gibson saying like, oh yeah, Morbius is in the MCU, and like he just doesn't understand the property. Yeah, the Inquisitor, I don't think he had a hat. He's got the big ass head. But the Grand Inquisitor was kind of a bummer. Yeah, I mean, that basically is the description of Logan, Canadian short king with good anger. We talked to Gerald McCoy about this, I believe, when we did our superhero draft, and he was saying, which a lot of people have agreed with, that Taron Egerton would be a great fit there, and I agree with that because he is really, really good at like getting into those characters like of like rage and all that stuff. Like even you've seen like small moments in Kingsman or Rocket Man and all that stuff. He's in a lot of man movies, and then he would be in an X-Men movie. This guy's done a lot of men stuff. But yeah, I think would be good. He's also short. He's built. I think he would just fit into that well. I've also said it before. It wouldn't work now because he's Kraven the Hunter, but like Aaron Tyler Johnson, I thought would have been an exceptional Wolverine because he's got this sort of like very scary demeanor to him when he wants it anyway. Like if you've seen, I don't know if any of you have seen Outlaw King, but in Outlaw King, he plays this guy, like I think his name is Black Douglas or something, like the Black Douglas, and he's fucking unhinged. He's extremely good. I think he would have been an incredible Wolverine. And I've watched Letterkenny. I've seen like, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 episodes of it. I liked it. The actor that's Logan Marshall Green, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he would be pretty good there too. He's also a very good screamer, and I think that's important if you're doing a role like that. I go to great lengths to avoid any leaks of any plots or leaks of any movies or anything like that. I unless absolutely necessary, I will just refuse to do it. Cheryl's doing good. We were texting about The Boys this morning. He was asking me what was cracking with like the finale. Because if you know anything about True Balance, he loves when things get spoiled. So he was asking me like literally just to describe the last episode, which I did for him. But he's doing good. What's the last thing he texted me? Something about gay Elvis, I think it was. Something like that, yeah. Oh, yeah, he just texted me a picture of Austin Butler in his fat suit from Elvis, which is disgusting. And again, if for those of you that have seen Elvis, movie criminally lacked fat Elvis. Like, I forget if it was Cosmonaut or whatever, like those Red Letter guys, they said, like it's a huge shame to deprive us of one of history's greatest eaters, and I agree. It's bullshit. Like, he's a fat man. It's not disrespectful to say that. He was a big guy. Got to show that. If not showing it is almost disrespectful. Andy Samberg, I gotta think no. I think I mentioned we did a Marvel fan casting blog, me and Robbie Fox, a long time ago, and I remember my pick for Professor X was Mahershala Ali. I think he would have been phenomenal as Professor X. What are some of your favorite movies that you know aren't good but you love? I have a full list of these. Let's see. I know we did a full draft of this a while back. It was kind of like a guilty pleasure draft, I think. Where is this? Guilty pleasure movies. What was my team? I had Kingdom of Heaven, but not the director's cut, like the theatrical cut, which is not very good. I still loved it, and I love when I saw the Ridley Scott's cut of it. It was so much better. Tears of the Sun I had on here. That movie I watched a trillion times. I know it's not particularly good. Repo Man with Jude Law and Forrest Whitaker. Event Horizon. No, I think Event Horizon is just a good movie. What else was on our lists? We had Greg Grunberg on for that episode. He had like a bunch of weird ass picks, like Defending Your Life. Like, it's not really guilty pleasure, just a great movie. The Longest Yard. Yeah, I agree with that. That's my boy. Sure, just go with it. It's like all Adam Sandler stuff. 1998 Godzilla. That's a good pick. I do like that movie. Saving Silverman. That is a good movie though. In Time, Trailhead, She's All That, Hot Rod, Sucker Punch, Mars Attacks. Yeah, I'd put that on there. There's a lot. I like all of those movies, though. There was an overabundance of fat Tom Hanks. Way too much fat Tom Hanks. He stunk. He was so bad. And I think that I'm so happy that I thought of this extremely dumbass analogy for it, which is that the movie was hamstrung in two parts by that first act on one leg, and then by fat Tom Hanks on the other, because Tom Hanks ruined it. And that was so bad. And like, it's not like necessarily his fault. Like, there should have been a point in the auditioning process where Boz was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have the most recognizable actor in Hollywood probably playing someone who's 400 pounds heavier than he actually is, because it'll be with a Dutch accent, which Tom Hanks can't do in this movie. So that was insane. Yeah. Elvis has a lot of funny stories like that, and I don't think they touched on a lot of them, partially because it's a drama or whatever. But like, I wanted to see a lot more of him. I wanted to see him fucking die on the toilet, dude. Like, with 4 months of shit backed up his ass. Like, I don't know. I wonder what the next one will be. There is a Bob Marley one coming out soon that we interviewed someone for. There's a few. There's a Diana Ross one coming out soon, I think. Maybe that was Whitney Houston. I think there's a Whitney Houston one coming out soon. I don't know what any of them are going to be like musical or not, or dramatic or something, but theory that Boz hates fat people in his movies. I guess so, but I mean, I don't know why he would make him then the full subject of the movie. No, I don't really. So, like, I know Chris and Jeff watch them a lot, like Cosmonaut and Red Letter Media. I don't like to watch other reviews before making my own opinion, because I feel like they influence how I think, whether I like it or not. It's just the way that my brain works. And I don't want to accidentally regurgitate anyone else's opinions. Like, I don't read any reviews before I do my own ones. And that usually just means I don't end up not watching them, period. So like when I was not part of LCB, I would watch Red Letter Media a ton. I just haven't really since, because it poisons the well sort of in my head. And I'm like, I feel like I'm regurgitating someone else's opinions, and I don't like that. If there any news on the live action, I didn't even know they're doing a live action Gundam, but that's awesome. Gundam is really, really good anime. I recently started watching the first episode of it on Hulu, and man, dude, like that animation was pretty good considering it was like early 1980s, like turning from the 70s. It's crazy. Next James Bond, I have no idea. Like, I would honestly kind of like if they picked like an American to play him. That's my only request, is because British people would flip a shit about that more than anything else. I agree with Daniel Craig's assessment that like you don't need to make James Bond into a woman when you can make a new franchise that is probably better than James Bond, because it's James Bond. When you look at their hit rate, it's not great. They're not a very consistent movie franchise. It's like you have some great movies like Skyfall, and then like some real shit ones like Moonraker. Moonraker was like actually Moonraker is pretty bad. But like they're not consistent. You could do something better, but at the same time, it's like it's almost like arrogant to be like, yeah, just go make another James Bond, one of the most watched spy thriller series of all times, arguably the most. So it's difficult. It's the quality of story Top Gun gave us instead of puke fest of nostalgia. I don't know what the answer is between any of them, but I don't know what the ratio is. I think that as long as you're making a good movie first, all that other stuff should come secondary. Like if you write a good plot, it doesn't need to hinge on those moments, those little nostalgia moments. You can add any one of those in after like in your second version of your script or whatever. No, I don't think so. Only because they're so tied into that point. But man, I don't know. What's his name is still kicking. Doc Brown. And he just was awesome in Nobody, for whatever that's worth. I don't know. There's a Madonna one. Yeah, that's true. They just have to dump this Flash movie. I have no fucking clue how they navigate this or how they navigate Black Adam. Like both of these movies have been like, yeah, this movie's coming out. It's coming out for like 2 decades, and like we're finally getting it, and neither of them looks particularly good. The Flash for different reasons, obviously, but like Ezra Miller, he just got locked up. Menace to society. Who was a musician that tried acting and you're surprised how good they were? For some reason, and it's not fair, the first one that always comes to mind is when Anthony Kiedis was in Point Break. And because that scene where he like tries to bully Keanu Reeves, I think was very funny. Flea was in Kenobi recently. I'm trying to think of like what. Let me get a good list of musicians turned actors. Will Smith? No, he was an actor turned musician, was he not? 23 actors that begin. Aquafina, sneakily a very good actress if you've ever seen The Farewell, which we will talk about in our A24 tiering. Lady Gaga, I don't think is a good actress. Harry Styles is pretty good. Idris Elba. Oh yeah, he was a DJ or something. Yeah. Jennifer Hudson, that's a great pick. I think that's a good one. Beyonce, not really. Rihanna, not really. Justin Timberlake is solid, all things considered. Ice-T, no. Mandy Moore, yes. Mandy Patinkin, true. He used to be the Fiddler on the Roof. Ludacris, no. LL Cool J, no. Queen Latifah, yes, to a degree. Mark Wahlberg, yeah. Mark Wahlberg, I guess, would have to be. Okay, I'm not surprised by how good Mark Wahlberg is because he's not particularly that good. But like when you watch Boogie Nights, you would never picture that he was in like a boy band or beating up people with racial motivations. Ice Cube, no. Steve Van Zandt, yeah, like really good in Sopranos. Madonna, no. Cher, yes, Cher's pretty good actress. Barbara Streisand, yeah. Chris Christopherson, Frank Sinatra. Oh no, there's a lot. There's a lot on here. A lot more than I thought. Let's see. American Revolution movie. The Patriot. There's a John Adams series on HBO that's pretty good. Then there's that, was it Liberty Kids, that PBS program? They pour too much money into the Flash to not throw it out there. Yeah, no, you're completely correct. They have to release it. They have no choice. But like, they're in a bind. They're in a huge bind. I don't know what they do. The Patriot is top tier. Yeah, you're right about that. Also, Patriot, the series on Amazon Prime, is also very good. If you've ever seen that, good spy dramedy, I guess you would call it. Think we good live action? No, because like, it's weird because my go-to for like if I was to adapt any anime into live action, all of them are so in the weeds where it's like you can't turn them live action without losing what makes the anime so good. So like my go-to for it was Cowboy Bebop, because Cowboy Bebop is just a space western, and we've seen that succeed in The Mandalorian. So like that was my thought, was like, okay, if they can do this, then maybe other ones would work. But Cowboy Bebop live action did not work at all. I do think that was mostly more of a degree, like, that didn't prove it was impossible, but like because there was a lot of issues with the way that they made the show, and like the showrunner of it was just awful. So I don't know. Dream villains or characters to see in the sequels. I think we are obviously getting Barry Keoghan Joker at some point. I don't know what other ones I would be like dying to see with this iteration of Batman, because there's so many of them we've seen a trillion times already. I have to think about it. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. That's going to be on you. This I agree with. Harry Styles does have a lot of potential. I really want to see Don't Worry Darling, the one that's coming out soon with Florence Pugh. That I had no idea what it was going to be about based off of the initial expectations or whatever, or non-plot summary. But when they had that first trailer and like they kind of set up that mystery, I got so pumped. I can't wait to watch that. Yeah, Will Smith is definitely, I think, out of all of these, I guess the one. But I always thought of him as an actor before a musician. But I guess, yeah, musician pre-actor. Yeah, duh, he was. Shit, I'm stupid. We talked about this earlier. And I think I said literally the same comparison. I have no clue which one of these is going to be, solid or bad. I know that the director has a blank Wikipedia page, as in like you can't click his name. And for a guy that's that fresh to get a cast like that is a little surprising. So I don't know. Weirder things have happened. I agree with this. And I think the thing that swayed me on it more than anything else was watching The Dirt, the MGK movie. And in that movie, they had the guy who plays Keith in Righteous Gemstones play Ozzy Osbourne. And his scene in it was very, very short, but it was awesome. It was really, really good. Single player campaigns on PS5. Not single player. I've been playing a lot of multiplayer. I think I mentioned this on Twitter before, but I've been playing this really random game, like a free-to-play game called Enlisted. It's like a World War II FPS game. It's like kind of strange. The graphics aren't great at all, but like the gameplay is super fun. It's like Battlefield, except like significantly better in my opinion. And it's like, I don't know, I really like it. Not really a campaign though, although you get to pick which campaign theater you're fighting in. I mean, they have to market it as the Flash movie. There's like 90% of this movie hinges on the Flash, so you don't really have much of a choice. Agreed with this. Yeah, very much agree with this. I watched this 3-4 days ago. The Black Phone, it was awesome, and Ethan Hawke was insanely good in that. Really, really, really good. Yeah, I remember. I think I heard about this, or we talked about this. Yeah. The I Am Legend was, I think, one of the cooler dystopian movies, not because like the general content. I think just the way that they set up the post-apocalyptic world was really cool. It looked really neat at the very least. I think it's solid. I think she was really good in Game of Thrones. She was, I forget, one of the Mormonts or something. I thought she was pretty good in that. And obviously I guess she's older since then, and I think if she continues to grow up in that path of being like a sort of badass actress, then she would work as Ellie in like when she's older as well. Which I enjoy Love and Thunder. I don't know if I can say anything on here because we're restricted to social media reactions to it, but you can read my social media reaction to it. It was just like not as good as. Actually, no, not even gonna do it. Not gonna get blacklisted by Disney. I have played Elden Ring. I mentioned it, and like I think in the last episode of the long take, every From Software game is the same exact ordeal with me. When I'm like, I like playing hard games, but then I played them and I realized I don't like games that hard, and I end up quitting. Like I think Sekiro, I quit like 1/4 the way through, because it starts to feel to me at a point like work where I'm like sitting there looking up YouTube tutorials how to beat boss number 2, and I'm like, I can't do this on my own. It's like I'm grinding it out, and I don't like doing that. I like using my spare time to have fun with video games. Terminal List, yes. So we were talking about this very early on. I think the Terminal List was awesome, and I don't know how many episodes they released. I should probably check. But if you can watch the first 2 episodes back to back because they were really, really good. Would you star in a movie yourself? No, I would absolutely not. I can't act for shit. I am very good at selling. I would say reactions. I guess like I could tell someone like a lie sort of, and just act very normal about it, like if it's a joke anyway, not if it's serious. I think Timothy Chalamet will be known as the guy. Like, I feel like he's already on that flight path. We'll see. This I would agree with, and I think we talked to him off camera about this. I was like, I can't wait for you to be in another Escape from XYZ City movie because you are very, very good. All 8. That's all of them. I'm pretty sure. Damn. Okay, so watch as much as you can. It's a really good show. Yes and no. Like Pursuit of Happiness, he's incredible. I think he obviously won Best Actor for King Richard. He's really good in that. So yes, and we'll talk about that. Actually, we'll do that right now. We'll do our A24 tier list. Let me go into presentation mode. All right. I already watched both of these things all the way through, so I'm stuck with just watching Stranger Things and then going on to something else. Well, actually, no, I haven't watched Stranger Things all the way through. I haven't watched the last episode of it yet. Yes, I do. I have seen Timothy Chalamet's Xbox channel. All right. Let's do some tiers. And we have among the A24 movies, and I didn't pick all of them. I just picked out the ones I wanted to talk about and ones that I would assume more people have seen than not. We're tiered up into elite, standard fare, underappreciated, lost in the sauce, which is like they went way too A24 with it, which like their distribution, they're not the studio, whatever. But like they got way too A24 with it in a good way. They got way too A24 with it in a bad way. And then good old fashioned doo-doo butter. All right. So first up, Green Room. I would say very easily that Green Room is underappreciated. It is a very, very good movie. Spectacular Now is A24. It was under our A24 list on movierankings.net. Green Room is a great horror movie that I think got didn't get a totally fair shake. I think it's one of the better horror movies of, I want to say this was like, fuck, I don't want to get the date wrong on this, but I want to say it was like 2017 movie, 2016 movie, 2015 movie. I hope I'm not fucking that up. But either way, I think that was one of Anton Yelkin's last ones. It was a really, really good horror movie. Fantastic. Tusk, I would also say, is underappreciated in its own way. And I've talked to this about Robbie a lot because he loves this movie, and I don't disagree with him. I think it's a fantastic, or not fantastic. That's pushing it. It is a very unique movie that kind of, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it before, but I think you'd like it if you checked it out. Red Rocket. It's very tough for me to battle between these two. But like everything Sean Baker, I could easily put as unique as elite, without a doubt. So like, where do you? God damn it! I'll put it standard fare for now, but I'll see how many we get into the elite section. Spring Breakers. Goodbye. Sorry, Harmony. Corinne. Harmony. Sorry, Harmony. This was such like you need a specific taste to enjoy this movie, and I just do not have that specific taste at all. Mid 90s, I would say, like, I don't want to put mid 90s in the same tier as Red Rocket because I think Red Rocket is a lot better. I also don't think it's underappreciated. I think it's properly, actually, it is a little bit underappreciated. It was a pretty solid movie. I'll throw it there. We interviewed the cast of that, which is kind of funny. We interviewed it. we interviewed the cast of mid 90s, so that, and like the child cast of mid 90s, which is like Sonny Sulkich, who's like the main kid who also plays the son in God of War randomly. We interviewed that child cast so that Failing Upwards could interview what's his name? Jonah Hill. Like that was the deal that A24 made. Like you can get Jonah Hill on A24, but you have to have someone interview the rest of these kids. And we interviewed the kids. And like I don't regret it because they were all very, very, very cool. Very interesting to talk to. The Lighthouse, this is where things get a little bit sketchier. I would say that it's lost in the sauce in a good way. Very A24. So the second you get black and white, that's in your Negers territory, it's gonna get fucking weird. And I think that definitely got lost in the sauce, but in a good way. Waves, I would say it's definitely not doo-doo butter. I would say it's like probably more in the underappreciated category than anything else, because it was a very good movie that didn't make a ton of waves, ironically. Tusk is fucked. You're goddamn right. After that, we have The Tragedy of Macbeth. I would say lost in the sauce in a bad way, because Macbeth was like a really good movie. I don't think like 20 people saw it, including myself. It was extremely, you need to be into this to be into it, and like maybe 0.1% of the population is into it. And like I think it's a very good movie, but like it is definitely way too overboard in that certain sense. All right, now we get into, I would say very easily that Uncut Gems is in the standard fare. Definitely not the elite of the elite, but Uncut Gems is an incredible time, incredibly anxiety inducing. I know people don't like it very much. You might want to put it in the lost in the sauce category, but I think it was great. I think it was in their standard fare. The Farewell, this is where it gets really hard for me. I would say I'll put it in elite for now, because I think The Farewell is a fantastic movie, and that's one where not only was it so good on its own and like independently of anything else, it made me rethink my perception of Awkwafina as an actress, because she was so different and like dramatic, and like she was incredibly good in it. She blew me away, dude. It's nuts. Midsummer, I would do a standard fare. I would put Hereditary there too once we get to it. Midsummer is scary as fuck. Very, very frightening movie. That one I think scared me significantly more than Hereditary, mostly because, and we've talked about this before with different interviewees, but like the fact that it's entirely during the day, and no horror movie does that. Like it's an insane movie, and it was just so good. First Reformed, I put it here. Paul Schrader movie, very, very interesting. It's one that actually, you know what? I'll put it in underappreciated. I think it's a good movie, but I don't think underappreciated and standard fare like really even necessarily tiered out. But First Reformed, not nearly enough people saw that. Very good movie. Swiss Army Man, lost in the sauce, but in which direction is now the question. I would say lost in the sauce in a bad way, because they turned off so many different people. Prayer Before Dawn, definitely underappreciated. It has I forget. I think the actor's name is Joe Cole. He played the brother Michael in Peaky Blinders. He's like a British expat fighting in like this Thai prison or something. Like it is fucking crazy. Really, really good. Ex Machina, not lost in the sauce. I would say I'd put it under standard fare for them. Ex Machina was really, really good. Definitely not crazy. Lamb was interesting, but I would put it in. It's one of these two right here. I would say here. I'm fine with Lost in the Sauce in a bad way. Florida Project is elite in my opinion, and this goes back to, we were talking about that with where is she? Red Rocket. Sean Baker, incredible director. Florida Project fucking rips your heart out. Fucking sliced doo-doo butter ass Chance the Rapper movie, real bad. Under the Silver Lake, lost in the sauce in a tremendously bad way. Incredible that they got Andrew Garfield to do that movie, which is like a fever dream of incredibly snail's pace slow noir. It is painful to watch. I would put Enemy in standard fare. Enemy is a really interesting movie. Crazy ending. The ending still doesn't make sense to me. Like I looked it up like 20 times. I feel like at this point I still really don't understand the ending of that movie. The Kill Team, I put that under doo-doo butter. It's not lost in the sauce in a bad way. It's definitely not good. So Kill Team is down there. That's one where I'm surprised it's even an A24 movie at all. Spectacular Now, it's either elite or standard. I'll put it standard for now. Killing of a Sacred Deer. So this is a quick synopsis of the Florida Project. Florida Project is about a very young mother and living in like a Florida motel, and like the daughters and the mom trying to basically just like survive and live. Willem Dafoe's in it too. Really, really good movie. What did I just have up? Killing of a Sacred Deer. I'm okay putting this Lost in the Sauce in a good way. But I think a lot of people here would easily put it in the opposite side. Mississippi Grind, underappreciated. One of the better gambling movies, in my opinion. It doesn't resonate with everybody, but like I think that it needs more people need to watch it. I would say Lost in Translation is in the underappreciated as well, because that one came out, I think it was on like Apple TV or something, and no one watched it. It was pretty good. Don't forget Tacoma FD. You're right about that. Tacoma FD. People forget this last season of Tacoma FD, which stars the Super Trooper guys, Broken Lizard, was distributed by A24. A lot of people don't know that. Locke, I would say Lost in the Sauce in a bad way. They tried to do something like the whole movie set in the car, but like it's interesting. I don't think it was interesting enough on its own. Hot Summer Nights. It's one of these two. I don't really think it was really Lost in the Sauce. I don't think it's like a shitty movie, but I'll put it in doo-doo butter. Yeah, like it's not nearly as bad as Spring Breakers or Slice, but I'll put it there. Come on. I'll put Lost in the Sauce in a good way. Like it's very artistic, but like also a very, very good sort of familial drama. The Green Knight, Lost in the Sauce in a good ass way. I know a lot of people watching the movie and what the fuck is going on, but it is a good one. The Disaster Artist, let's say not underappreciated. I'll put standard fare. That's a really good movie, but it also requires you to have watched The Room. So it's like you need to require viewing to totally get it. Men, I would say Lost in the Sauce in a bad way. That's another one where it just got a little too, it doesn't totally click. Lady Bird is in the elite, in my opinion, one of the best coming of age movies ever made. Hereditary, standard fare, which standard fare for A24 is very different, obviously, than anyone else's. Moonlight Elite for sure. Barry Jenkins is a maniac. Minari, standard for now. I would say we might switch it up to elite later. The Witch, underappreciated, I would say, because not a lot of people. It didn't really go. Not enough people saw it. This I agree with. The Kid in the movie, Come On was really good. Last Black Man in San Francisco, definitely underappreciated. It's a very good movie. Like I would put it in standard fare if otherwise, but I just think I would put it underappreciated here because not enough people have seen it. The Room, standard fare. I would say obviously exceptional movie, for sure. Do I have a favorite Denis Villeneuve movie, buddy? I have several. Let me see. I'll go to movierankings.net. I will filter it by my own movies, Denis Villeneuve. In order for, that's not. For me, my top 5 is, or my top 4, let's say, Blade Runner, Sicario, Arrival, and Prisoners. All incredible movies that I would recommend to literally anyone. After Yang, Lost in the Sauce in a bad way for sure. Way too fucking weird in a bad way. Again, they really went loose. It Comes at Night, I would say underappreciated. Because it is a very scary movie. Not enough people had seen it. What movie is the best Goonies/Minions? I guess we were talking about the James Bond franchise before, but James Bond has some of the best. The Guy with the Hat, Jaws, a lot of like really good side minions and villains, and like obviously they parody that a lot in Austin Powers. Ghost Story definitely also going under on the underappreciated banner. Very, very good movie from it's the same guy who did Green Hour. We interviewed him, David Lowery. I think David Lowery. Good time. I'll put it under standard for now. Very good movie from the Safdie brothers, who we've also talked to before. Doo-doo Butter, Trespass Against Us. Zola, I would say Lost in the Sauce in a good way. Everything Everywhere All at Once, Elite, my favorite movie the last few years. X. This is hard. I would say underappreciated, not standard. It's stuff. No, actually, no. I'm gonna put it under standard. 8th Grade, Elite. I think it's my number one A24 movie. I think I gave it a 99. It's incredible. Bo Burnham directed movie. Really fucking blew me away. Really good movie. First Cow. Definitely one of the Lost in the Sauces. I don't know if it's good or bad. I would say good. I don't think everyone would agree with me though. Most Violent Year, definitely underappreciated. And lastly, someone mentioned this before, The Humans. I would also put underappreciated. Like again, this is another movie where I think 20 people total saw it. Really good movie though, very emotionally impactful. It is one where it, for at least a slight glimmer, a very short period of time, made me think Amy Schumer was a good actress because she's really good in the movie, or that she's just like I enjoy her. And then her Oscars was so bad, and it made me hate her again. So here's our full listing. I like this. I think I like where we went. I think I'm happy with all this. I don't know if I would move any of these to the elite. Maybe Red Rocket, because I really did like Red Rocket a lot. I don't know. I think I like how this went. I think I like this a lot. All right, so that is this episode of The Long Take. I'll be back next Friday and we'll do a different tiering. Maybe not of A24, but we'll do like I think we did in the first episode a year. So maybe we'll pick a year out to do movies. But thanks to all of you for joining, and I will see you next week.